Welcome back, everyone, to Three Themes at Three. I'm Chris, and I'm here with Danny, and together we are going to do a super fun quilt block based off of the ugly Christmas sweater. Yeah, it's true. I don't normally dress like this in mid-October, but here we are.
Yeah, we've committed. We've committed.
We are definitely committed. So let's go ahead and take a look at the block that I'm referring to. We'll head down here at the cutting table and take a closer look. I've actually done this in two different ways. And so I'm going to be able to show you one of my favorite ways to do an applique. Especially, I felt like it was very fitting with texture. We're going to be using a special product to create that texture. And then, of course, do you love that fabric there?
Yeah, it's really fun.
It is, isn't it? I've been waiting for the perfect time to use this fabric. I've had it forever, so I'm so sorry. If someone's wondering, where did you get the fabric? It's been in my stash for who knows how long. But I felt like this was the perfect time to use it.
Oh, it's darling.
It is. And then, of course, it's very tacky, just like a Christmas sweater should be. On this one, I made it again as a basic applique using Heat and Bond Light, added some funky colors on the trim because, you know, nothing is supposed to be too matchy-matchy. Used some ribbon trim on here, and I could have even really made this even more crazy, but that's where I started. Now, wouldn't it be fun to do a quilt that was all based off of ugly sweaters? You would take a 10-inch block and then just applique different fabrics on each one. I think it would be absolutely darling.
That would be really fun because you could it doesn't matter what it ends up looking like.
That's the best part about this project.
Right.
Exactly. It doesn't matter. Like, the crazier, the better. So let's take a look at this one. And this is the one that I'm going to teach Danny today on how to do.
I get to play with the texture?
Yes, you do.
That'd be fun.
Go ahead and feel it, Danny.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Ooh.
I wish, could we get a closer shot of this? Because this really is quite something.
It's like little
going
air
on
bubbles.
Here. It's like little air bubbles. That's right. It is bumpy, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's definite texture to this. Definite texture. So that's what I wanted to do for all of my ugly sweaters was let's have it textured to be looking more like a sweater, right? So how do you get that look? Well, the first thing I want to point out to you is that, of course, we've got a pattern for you today, and you could choose whether you wanted to do this as an outside piece, just as one fabric like I did here, or if you wanted to break it up into smaller, segments, then you have something a little bit more like this, where you're using some of the trim from the sweater applique. So either one will work great. But for this demo, we are doing this sweater right here. So this time, I've already prepared my fabric for the most part, all right? And I'll tell you why that is. Let's take a closer look at what is happening here. This is just a 10-inch piece of fabric. And what I've attached to it is a product called Balzo Stitch and Steam. And we've talked about this before, and it really is a great little product to be able to help again, give you that texture. So basically, Danny, what we're doing is we're creating another piece of fabric that's different from this one. Can you see here, I tried to do it in a dark thread so that the lines would show up, but do you see that I have all these straight lines going through right and left and just going back and forth, right?
Yeah.
You'll also notice that there's no difference between some of the spacing here. So some of it's a little bit wider, some of it's a little bit thinner. It's totally okay to do this, all right? Because there's no right or wrong way. The closer you get to stitching out those lines, the more texture you're going to receive in the finished product. Okay, so very, very important. Now, again, this is the product we're using. You're just cutting the same piece of, same 10-inch square as the fabric. Now, because this process takes a little bit of extra time to do, I've already done it about 3/4 or more so all the way so that we wouldn't have to take the time to do that. But I did leave some space here so that you could finish this off. So I'm going to hand this over to you.
Oh,
do it
boy.
with this right side up.
Okay.
And let's just take it over to the machine.
Yeah.
And you're just going to stitch straight lines.
Does
That's
it matter which direction?
Nope, it
No?
doesn't matter.
I
We're going to
see.
go ahead and,
Do it this
yeah,
way.
right there. That's perfect.
Okay.
And we'll put the presser foot down there.
Is he going there?
Right
There
there.
he goes.
Okay, so go ahead and begin
I'm
stitching.
gonna turn it to a
Are you going to
medium
slow it down a
speed.
little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
I'm definitely not a fast stitcher, but I'll do my best.
Okay. And again, the nice thing about doing this is that it doesn't have to be, it really doesn't have to be absolutely straight. You
Okay.
can just keep going. Now, when we get to the end, I want you just to stop on your pedal. Yep.
Okay.
Notice how the foot comes up, but the
Mhm.
needle stays in. This is what we call pivoting.
Cool.
And go ahead and do a few. In fact, you don't even have to push that.
Oh, really?
As soon as you put your foot back down on that pedal, the foot will on the machine will go back down.
Okay. So you're
Okay,
saying put
so
the foot down or
right
don't even
here on
worry
your
about
foot
it?
pedal.
Okay.
Yep. See how
Oh,
it goes back down? Isn't that
this
cool?
is a lot fancier
Yeah.
than my little tiny one that I stitch around
Right.
with.
And then all she's done is she's pivoted around that needle again, and now she's going the other way. So by doing this, it does save a lot of time, because if you were to cut and your threads at the end of each straight line, yeah, it would take a lot more time, right? So
Yeah.
what I'm teaching her to do is just allow the machine to pivot, make your turn, do 2 or 3 stitches, and then keep sewing. You're doing a great job, my friend.
I'm doing my best.
Yeah. You're doing
You
great.
gave me an easy one. This is going by pretty quick.
So again, it doesn't matter, how far apart it is. I mean, obviously you want them as fairly tight. That's what produces the texture, but it could be between 1/4 of an inch and 1/8 of an inch. All right.
Okay.
Okay, let's go ahead and trim our threads right there. Yeah. Good.
Cool.
Okay, now Danny, you get to do the fun part.
Okay.
You get to head over to Darth Vader over there.
Lovely.
That's the iron that we so lovingly call Darth Vader. Do you know why?
Is it the sound it makes?
Yeah, and he
Okay.
lets out a lot of steam, just
Oh,
saying.
lovely.
So let's go ahead and head over here. You'll notice here that I have my applique already traced, and I did this on heat and bond. Now the thing you want to make sure of is don't do this yet. We won't add this applique onto it until the new fabric has been created, all right?
Okay.
So how do we create this? Well, this is why we call it, see what I mean by, that's crazy. Like you
Yeah.
normally can't do that with an iron.
Oh my gosh, that's so
I
scary.
don't recommend you doing that at home. I can
Okay.
even do it
No,
tonight.
Oh my gosh.
I know, it's crazy. It gets out the wrinkles. It's amazing.
Oh, great.
All right, my friend, go ahead and let's hover that over and let's take a close look at what's happening here. I think you're going to be amazed.
Okay.
Okay, this one, there we go.
Whoa.
Sometimes you
heck?
got to get a little closer. It's being a little shy
It's like
there.
got a mind of its own.
Exactly.
What the heck?
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is.
Like, what's happening? The shrinking machine, Danny.
Yup.
Okay,
That's
now look
wild.
at that. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is.
So this is our new piece of fabric, my friends. What are we going to do in order to get this applique to go on? Well, this is the chance. Now that it's wrinkled up, right? The texture has worked. What I'm going to do, Patty said that it's like shrinky dinks.
Oh, shrinky dinks.
Do you remember
That's so
those?
true. I do remember those. I used to make keychains out of them all the time.
Oh my gosh, the best. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and I'm going to flatten it. And so you can see I've created
so
my new piece of
crazy.
fabric.
Yeah.
Isn't that fun?
That is fun.
Can you guys see that? That's so cool. That is, feel that, Danny.
Yep, it's the same as the other one.
Yeah.
You can definitely see it a little better on this one compared to the other one.
You can, for sure. All right, so now at this point, I'll go ahead and flip it to the other side, to the back, and we're going to treat this just like it was a regular piece of fabric. So again, I traced my sweater onto a piece of Heat and Bond Light, and I'm going to go ahead and let you press that on.
Okay. And I don't need the steam for this one, right?
Nope, you don't need the steam on this one.
Lovely.
You could if you wanted to, but you don't have to.
Okay.
So that's as easy as it gets. It's super fun, and I have to tell you, if you want to really impress the kiddos around the house, have them, watch you do the little magic trick of watching that
that's
puzzle
really
stitch
fun.
and tape come off. Head down to the your sewing room and say, Grandma's got a magic trick for you, right? I think they'll be super impressed. All right, so let's head back down here, and I've got a background piece of fabric that is 10 inches. So at this point, all I have to do is just peel this back. Do you see that shiny side there?
Yeah.
That means you know that you've adhered it well enough. If you didn't have that shiny, you would go, oh, I better take it back to the iron and have that, try that again, right?
Good.
So there we go. Super simple. And now I just place it right there in the middle.
Sweet.
Oh my goodness. I think it's just such a fun little project to try out. Nice job, my friend. You did it.
Woohoo!
You made your first ugly sweater block. Now the other part that comes in that really, takes your creativity to a whole new level is, again, adding some buttons, adding trims, adding all kinds of things. We have these buttons also on the website. Look how cute it would be to add some of these, or the penguin right there.
So cute.
You just can have a whole lot of fun. Or just do the regular applique without the shrinky fabric. So either way, but I don't know, that texture is pretty darn cool.
Yeah, that's really fun.